Aloha and shalom. It is the new moon time, so it is time for the new moon activation. For those of you who are returning to the activation portal, welcome back. Good to see you again. We've been doing this every week for years now. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, welcome to our global community. We're looking forward to getting activated with you. You may hear some little noises in the background. I've got some kittens running around in the room right now. Just kind of letting them roam free in the room so they can get a little bit of the activation. I'm just beginning to shuffle the cards. And while I do, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. As usual, I'm tuning in from the lovely Sedona, Arizona. The new moon activation is all about a new beginning. These activations don't necessarily have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that we use it as a measurement of time so that we can meet 4 times a month. The shape of the moon is simply reflecting what's going on back of all things, because as it is with one, so it is with all. So if the moon is new, there's a new element that is taking place inside all of us. So that dark sky represents sort of like the clear mind, like a fresh start, a new beginning. So it's very inspiring. It's a time of inspiration. It's a time of creativity. It's a time to dream. So I'm just shuffling the cards, and basically what we're doing when we shuffle the cards is we're touching each one. We're activating each one, and each one represents a different part of the mind, different aspect of the psyche. So we're waking them up. We're saying, hello. Again, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you have a favorite group on Facebook that you want to share this with, you have a family member or a friend who you want to share this video with while we're live, get them in the portal live. Otherwise, you'll be able to access the recording afterward. You can also access it afterward when it gets loaded to YouTube and Instagram Rebecca Magic, in case you have a friend who is not here in Facebook land. And the recording is just as powerful as the live. You'll see it when and where you're meant to. Even if you received it 7 years from now, 30 years from now, it's a message of universal truth, so it's timelessly applicable. Maybe you know somebody who needs an inspiring message right now. Share this video with them. Maybe you know somebody who could help activate this message further, because there's somebody you know who is super powerful, super positive, and you can tell they're tapped into the powers of their mind. Share this with them. Invite them into our awesome community. All right, it looks like the service was a little spotty there. Thanks for hanging in. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. But we'll do what we do. Phew. Okay. So just shuffled the Hebrew cards as well. They look like this. Thank you guys for hanging out through the spottiness of the service here. All right. And we begin. So with this new moon, new beginning, we are grateful for the message about to come through. Thank you in advance to the archetypes, faces of the one, for this message about to come through. For the one, by the one, for the one. Okay, so the new theme that we're stepping into this month, which is also the challenge and gift, the current challenge and gift. The thing that we can leave behind now, close up. And then with the Hebrew cards, we're going to pull the ally of the week as we move through this new challenge and let go of what we need to let go of. Starting with the very first card, the challenge and the gift, the new one that we're just now stepping into. The Eight of Wands. I actually just received a message, what was it, yesterday, asking to go deeper with this card. So that's pretty cool. So 8 of Wands. Wands is a suit of fire, spirit. And 8s are about, think about the 8 in the major arcanum. The correct, non-manipulated 8 is actually balance, also known as justice. Although in modern tarot you'll see in the sequence number 8 is strength, but this is a manipulation. So feel free to message me and ask me more about that. My books do talk about this as well. The proper 8 in the major arcanum is balance, aka justice, and that's all about eternal law, which we can observe and extract from simply studying the cycles of nature. So when you think of that, when you think of the 8 as balance or justice, it starts to paint a clearer picture of what the 8 of Wands is, really what all of the 8s of the decks mean in their proper element or elemental association. So 8 of Wands is all about spiritual signs, paying attention to the signs and symbols which show up in cycles. They're showing up around you, particularly in nature. The most reliable signs are around you and within you. In the most organic ways, look to nature, look to the stars, look to the seasons. Those are your most reliable reflections. So why I'm saying refer to Arcanum 8, justice or balance, is because it's not just about look for the signs. It's about look for the true signs. Everything's a sign, right? Everything's a sign, but when you have the eye to see, you have to be able to see beyond the illusion, beyond the veil, to the truth. To the truth that's always there. So yes, this is about signals, intuition, because it's wands, it's fire, it's spirit. It's about intuition, paying attention to the signs. But again, when you think of the original number 8 of the deck, balance or justice, the signs are going to be present in the cycles and seasons of nature. So look around you, pay attention. So if this is the challenge and gift right now, this is our new beginning we're stepping into for this cycle this month. It's calling us to really sharpen our intuition, sharpen our ability to stay present, to receive those signs, because they're always all around us. The whole reason we use the moon as a measurement of time for these activations is a perfect example. The moon is consistent. The moon is consistent. It's a reliable ally. Upon reflecting on the moon, we can gain so much. It's such a pillar for us because it's consistent. And when you think of 8, right, you think of 8 on its side, eternal. Those signs that come in cycles that are eternal. Truth is eternal. So it's reliable. I mean, universal truth is eternal. So it's reliable. So we're being offered this opportunity right now to go deeper with our intuition, to sharpen our ability to stay aware, stay present. And remember, it's the challenge and the gift. So for some of us, we're going to experience it in a more challenging way. For some of us, we're going to really just fly through it. And for most of us, we're going to go back and forth. But what this is going to look like is challenges to stay present, because in order to see the signs, you have to stay present. So there will be temptations, there will be distractions, which always involve emotions that want to pull you out of your center. So starting right now, as you emerge from this activation, the end of the activation, anytime a challenge comes your way, which looks like anything that's trying to move you from your center, move you from your center of balance, take it as an opportunity to use your will, use your power to stay present, so that you'll still be able to, in your stillness, see the signs, see the reflections around you that are trying to guide you and tell you the way to go, the proper way to go, tell you the choices to make that reflect universal truth. In this way, you make choices that are more stable, that have more sustainable effects. In this way, you stay focused on what's actually important. Otherwise, what happens is you end up moving from your center, you're not looking for the signs, and you make a decision based on ego, which is based in temporary nature. It's based in time and space, the limitations of time and space. So you end up making decisions upon a foundation that is not complete, that is temporary, that's unsustainable. You want, I have a hair. Can't be my energy word. It's probably these cats. You want to be able to stay present. That's how you'll make it through this challenge. That's how you'll succeed. You want to be able to stay present so that you can pick up on the signs that are going to guide you in the best possible direction, rather than coming out of your center, becoming confused and lost because of an emotion that you allow to overcome you. And then you end up making decisions that are not the best decisions you could have possibly made. And remember, the signs are always around us. 8, eternal, always, forever around us, speaking to us, even within us. But if we're not still and we're not present, we absolutely cannot tune into those truths. So let's see something we need to leave behind in order to maintain that presence, in order to be able to pick up on the signs. And we have a 7. So 7, 8, 7, 8. And this is 7 of the major arcanum, so it comes right before the card we just talked about. 8, balance, justice. So I wrote on here, as I usually do, the Chariot is also known as the Conqueror in ancient Egypt. This is major arcanum 7, super powerful card. This came up for the last activation as well, didn't it? It did. So the Chariot is all about ascension. The card right before it is the challenge. Depending on how you move through the challenge, it'll lead you to the Chariot. It'll determine your level of ascension, your level of growth. Tarot is a sequence. So first is 6. It's all about challenge and temptation. 7 is the Chariot. It's about how you rise above that or not. And you know what? This card was actually in the same position as well for the previous activation. Or was it the one right before that? It was the one at the headwaters, if y'all recall. I'm looking at your comments right now. So anyways, it was the one at the headwaters. So this is in that same position. It's very clear. The message is very clear. We're just saying if you're not present, if you can't be still, you won't be able to see the signs. So the Chariot is all about that forward movement, growth, attainment. It's masculine, which means active. But we want to be in our feminine element right now. We want to be still. We want to be receptive. It's like you want to be like water, right? So that you can feel and witness the imprints that are upon us. Because as I said, the signs are always within us and all around us. We have to literally be like water so that we could allow those impressions to be what they are without our own actions and expressions and influences. We want to see what those imprints are, experience what those imprints are in their organic and purified, most simple state. Because then we can find the patterns, the keys, the codes that will provide us with the best answers, the best guidance to move forward. But if we think we know what's up and we know what to do already and we're on the go, 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 we're not going to be able to be still. You can't be both at the same time. You can't be both, in your super active phase and also be receptive. If you think you know, then how could you possibly receive a new answer? I like what Dan is saying here. Observe, not absorb. Oh, amen. Ashe. Yes. So it's very clear here. If you want to see the signs, and there's another thing with this, don't be so caught up in the growth that you've already done, in the aspects of yourself you've already worked on. Don't just say, yeah, okay, 7 is also spiritual attainment. Don't just say, wow, yeah, so I've achieved spiritual attainment, so I'm done. The work is never done. Right when we think we're done is when we're fooling ourselves. So if you find yourself this week saying, oh gosh, I'm so amazing, spiritual success, I'm really evolving and I'm really transforming and I'm ascending and I'm so spiritual and wise, like, good for you. And you're not going to be able to stay present if you're in that space of pride. This is why pride is a vice, right? It's like, well, we should be proud of ourselves and self-love. And yes, but self-love doesn't look like sitting in your pride all day. That actually doesn't help you. It makes you miss the mark for the next lesson that's on its way, because there's always a next lesson on its way. So this is telling us a couple of things. A, be aware of where we are holding on to that self-pride, where we're missing that opportunity for the next lesson, where we're missing opportunities to receive those signs, those messages, those signals that actually want to help us take that success, that spiritual success, even deeper. So it's like, for example, you might think, wow, I really aced this lesson. You know, I was going to give in to anger today and I did it. And I stayed peaceful and accepting. And I'm so proud of myself. And I'm so proud of myself. And meanwhile, there's like some opportunity knocking on the side. Like maybe there's somebody who needs your help or somebody, you know, and then, and what could happen is you might have aced that challenge, but then you're so proud of it that a person says, excuse me, I need your help. And you just go, not now. Gosh, I'm so proud of myself for that, you know, that anger that wanted to come out yesterday. I didn't let it. Not now. And you're literally doing the thing that you're saying you're so proud of yourself, you have had overcome. But now you're doing it. And you're too busy with your self-pride to see that there's an opportunity knocking to go deeper. In fact, that's always how it works, isn't it? That's the irony. We go through a lesson, but then we always go through it on deeper levels. Oh, and especially if you just learned something mentally and you didn't have the opportunity to materialize that yet, definitely be aware. Don't be so hyped up about your studies and wow, I read this really cool new spiritual book and it told me all about this practice. Well, have you practiced it yet? And then even if you have, be ready for the next opportunity to continue your practice. Because remember, the practice doesn't end. It just makes us more skillful at that, with that area of our lives. It makes us more skillful with that particular virtue. So it's not enough. And I mean, this is so obvious. It's not enough if we, for one time, overcome anger. Oh, that's right. I'm just having a realization that the headwaters activation was the full moon. So we did have the final quarter and now's the new moon. So 2 activations ago was this. Okay. So we're clearly still here. So think about that. If you overcome your anger in one moment, or you exhibit a little bit of patience, or you exhibit a little bit of kindness, it's not enough. I actually have a video about this. If you guys are interested, please reach out and ask for the video. It's all about acts of kindness. It's all about virtuous acts. You can't just do it once, okay? It's like you're trying to do alchemy, right? So you heat up the material, but then you turn off the heat. The process isn't done. You got to keep heating. You got to keep going. When you do an act of kindness, right? It's almost like I see it like a little hamster on a wheel, and it's going and it's lighting up this bulb, okay? It's producing electricity to light up a bulb, but then the hamster stops, isn't it? You got to keep going, and the faster and stronger you go and the more consistent you are, the more that light bulb stays lit up. So that's the thing. Don't think, oh, I've achieved it, I've done it, I'm done. You're never done. That's the trick. Keep going. Stay humble. It's a key. Stay humble. In fact, it's an absolute key, because if you don't stay humble, you'll be so transcendent, you'll be so in your friggin' head that you'll miss those signs. It'll go right over your head and you won't even see it. Go, look at me, ha ha ha, I'm evolving, woo, I'm so high that you're not even grounded enough to see the next lesson. So high that you're not even grounded enough to be able, or still enough to be able to see the sign or the signal that's right in front of you, speaking to you, telling you, hey, you're not done yet. You can even go deeper. There's more success to be had. In fact, when you get over your pride and your ego, you'll see that it was never about you anyway. It's about us. It's about the one. It's about the collective. So be aware of that self-pride and how it may keep you in a state of trance, and you'll miss the signs. You'll miss the signals. And the ally of the week is the Shin, Hebrew letter Shin. It's letter 21. When you reduce 21 to a single digit, 2 plus 1, you get 3, just like the 3 branches here. It looks like fire, right? It looks like fire. In fact, I have it right here on my finger, but it's kind of faded away. It looks like fire. And that's actually because it means exactly what it looks like. It's the letter that represents the fire element. There's a letter a Hebrew letter that represents each of the elements, and the shin represents the fire element. And the shin is like 3, or like it's 21 reduced to a 3. It represents action. Just like card 3 in the tarot, the Empress, aka the unveiled Isis, represents action. And action is that heat, it's that motion, it's that fire, it's that inspiration, it's that creativity. It's that carrying through, pulling through, taking your conception all the way through to manifestation. It's like mind, body, soul. Full, whole, holy concepts made into material, made manifest. So it's really seeing things through, following things through. So how are you connecting to the fire element? First of all, have you revisited lately your definition of fire in all of the dimensions? What is fire to you in all of the dimensions? How do you relate to it? How are you one with it? Did you even know you're one with it? How do you use it? How do you relate to it? Because subconsciously, the way that you define the element in each of the elements is how you embody them and how you connect with them all around you, because everything is made up of the elements. So the focus right now is fire. And it's asking, are you allowing your fire to be that fire of ego, fire of self-pride, hot-headed, stubborn, so excited and passionate, but about the wrong things? Allowing your ego to just be inflamed? Or can you pour some water on that fire and instead call upon the true essence of the fire that you and I know? We're not talking about a campfire. We're not talking about the fire on your stove or the lighter in your pocket. What really is fire? Fire represents the spirit, the soul, which is eternal. So how can you tap into that higher aspect of fire? Higher fire, eternal flame, true creativity, which inspires and manifests healing and purification and transformation for one and all. Not just for the little you, but for the big one you of which we're all a part. How can you sit and meditate? Sit with fire. Meditate on fire in all of its forms. Revisit your definition of fire, even if you think you got it already. Remember, rethink. Redefine, even if it comes out as the same definition. You are not who you were yesterday. You are not who you were last week or who you were when you last sat and defined the fire element. So guarantee you haven't done that as the new you, who you are right here, right now in this moment. So sit with that. Redefine fire. Reevaluate your definition of fire multidimensionally. And then ask yourself, how have I been embodying this fire in a way that burns, in a way that has been led by ego? And how can I shift this and instead invoke that fire that purifies and transforms and does that work of purification and transformation for all? For all. Because when you do it for all, you receive great power. When you do it with humility and a oneness perspective, you step into that feminine element. Because when you're humble, when you're bowing, for example, or you're resting and you're just paying respects, you're being open, you're being in your feminine element, you're being receptive. When we're humble, we're receptive, and we can open to receive the power of the divine, which is beyond any human power. And that's what we need to be in our feminine element right now, to be still. To be still so that we can receive the signals of inspiration that will then ignite the fire in a way that is higher. Ignite the fire in a way that is higher. So transform that fire and use it for the one. And know that when you do that, that purification process and that transformation process will be a lot more graceful. You will feel so empowered and so full of purpose And the pleasure and the bliss that comes with this process will be sustained. It won't be a temporary, fleeting experience. It will be sustained, because the light that you will embody and the light that you will radiate will have an impact on our shared world forever. So just revisiting, we have a 7 and 8, and we have the Shin, which is connected to card 21, the World in tarot. So when you see the World card, there is a 22 in some decks, but when you see the World card, the 21, it's really about a sense of completion. 21 is at 3, like father, mother, child, completion. It's the world. It's a manifestation of what you've been working on, what you've been working to bring to fruition. So really ask yourself, what is it that I'm working on? And is it something that's going to allow me to continue to sharpen my intuition? Because that's a process that never ends. Is what I'm working on really worth it? Is the fire that is being invoked inside of me to complete this project, is that fire a fire that's coming from my soul? Or is it a fire for temporary satisfaction, which is going to bring a result that is temporary? So before you can even ask, is my goal worthy? Is whatever I'm trying to manifest worthy? First ask yourself, where is the inspiration even coming from? That fire, that passion, that fire of inspiration inside of you, what is it? Is it coming from your soul? Or is it some temporary motivation? Is it some egoic motivation? Is it because there's somebody's attention you're trying to get? Or because someone told you that you need to manifest that thing in order to love yourself, or in order to be a good human, or in order to be a good woman or man? You know, what's your motivation? What's your inspiration? Is it pure? Is it true? And is it connected to the one? Is it connected to the collective? Because right there, before you even ask about the material situation, before you even ask about, is this goal worthy? Ask, what is your inspiration right now? Where is that coming from? Is it soulful inspiration? Or is it not? It's one or the other. Okay, so if we want to receive the signs and signals, and we want to put our intuition to use, because, you know, it's like supply and demand. The more you use it, the more you deepen it. Use it or lose it. So we want to become still, which requires getting outside of our ego, letting go of that self-pride, taking a moment to pause. Don't be so concerned about how far you've come. Know that there's always more to go. And stay alert, stay present, stay still, so that you can see the truth of what's unfolding within you and all around you. See beyond your own chaos. See beyond all the voices and noises of the world, even your own inner world, in your own head, all of your own ego's attempts to self-sabotage. Be still so that you can see the simple truth beyond all that noise. And from there, you will receive the proper inspiration and guidance to move forward on your path. But slow down a bit. Take a moment. Simplify. In order to access the truth, which is simple and foundational, we have to remove the veil. We have to uncover it from all the dust. We have to excavate it. And the only way to excavate truth is to be still, to be present, so that you reflect it, so that you return to the truth of who you are, so that you return to your essence, which is that truth. We can only do that when we're still. It's so good to see you guys here and present in the portal. May we remain this present as we move through this week, to really release our pride, to be still, to choose silence in moments where we might not have previously, to create a little bit of space so that we can read between the lines, so that we can see beyond the veil, here present doing this with you all. And again, if you want to know more about some of the concepts that I mentioned, a lot of it is in my book, The Manipulations, Going Beyond the Manipulations. Sorry, my books, book 1 and 2, Major Arcanum, Minor Arcanum. Reach out and ask me if you want me to ship you a copy. These books contain all of my personal secrets about the manipulations in modern tarot, going beyond them, not fearing them, understanding them, being able to use the modern tarot and to still see the truth beyond the manipulations. Proper Hebrew letter correlations to the cards, which you almost never find anymore. And then I also have a course on the Major Arcanum cards. It goes into the actual symbolism of these cards, which one of them is right here. We pulled a Major Arcanum today. So if you want to know more about the symbols in the Chariot card, reach out and ask me for that particular video class. It's about an hour to an hour and a half long. We just dive into all the symbols. If you want the whole course, we've got every card, plus a couple of bonus classes in there, some pretty interesting stuff, how to access the feminine or the masculine within the Major Arcanum of the Tarot, things like this. And I am offering one-on-one readings still, so please reach out if you want to book a reading with me. You guys, there have been so many fake profiles on here, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm not, I can't keep up with them or can't keep reporting them. Feel free to report them for me. I appreciate it if you do. I'm not asking anyone to go out of their way to do that, but just be aware, because I will never comment asking you if you'd like a reading. I will never reach out to you asking if you want a reading. I will never ask for your payment information. I will always give you mine when the time comes to make a payment, so that's never going to be me. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm actually rarely on here unless it's to post an activation or some, activation inspiration, some archetypal stuff. So there's only this page, Royal Path Tarot on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Royal Path Tarot. My main profile is Rebecca Magic. And then I do have 2 private groups on here, aside from this page, but they're groups, not a page. One of them is called the Archetypal Alliance, for those walking the Royal Path. If you want to join, it's a private group. There's another group called Shabbat Crew, and in there we discuss Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah and Shabbat stuff every week. We do the interpretation of the Torah story every week, so feel free to join us in there. It's called Shabbat Crew. And I think that about covers it. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this new moon activation. I love meeting you here every week. It's so exciting and it's so cool to grow together and share in these messages so that we can simplify the work and make it more accessible in a more profound way. I'm so grateful for this community and what it has become and what it is still becoming, transforming every moment, every activation. I love you guys. Thank you. Happy to do this work with you forever. Shalom.